I sold a company. I'd created multiple businesses and books. Harry and I had really solidified our home here and bought a few properties, and our team had grown, and I had grown. So much had changed. I'd been leading so many other people through transformational work. We launched a podcast to number 14 in the world. We bought a new property, which is my perfect dream home with a tennis court and golf chipping range. It's 6 bedrooms. It's on acreage. So we did that. I finished a couple of books. I launched a new course called Superconscious Entrepreneur, and now I've launched a publishing company. Just so much changed in 6 months because of what I learned there. Whatever your desire is, whatever that creative impulse is, you're also given the ability to see that creative impulse turn into reality. Hey, Self-Made Millionaire. This episode is about the most transformative 2 weeks that I've probably ever had. Last year I went to Africa, and as many of you know, it was a transforming time for me. We went on the soul safari with William Whitecloud. A bit of a backstory. I'd actually paid to go on this trip first in 2019, then because of COVID and everything else happened. And I want you to imagine being out in the wilds of Africa with, the most amazing group of people, and you're doing transformational, conscious creative work, and you're surrounded by just wilderness. Like to walk from your room to go get food, you had to ring up and someone had to turn up with a rifle, because where you walked, there could be leopards or anything turn up at any time. Like you're literally in the wild. And imagine every day you wake up early, you go out on search to see some wildlife. And on one day we would see like buffalo, giraffes, so many zebras. We even saw lions making a kill. And you'd go for 2 or 3 hours, and you'd go back, have the most amazing breakfast. You spend your day doing transformational work, and then you'd go out again in the evening, and you'd just be with nature. And it was such a transformative time that actually now I'm purchasing, with William Whitecloud and another partner, Melissa, we're purchasing 1,500 hectares and creating our own game reserve. And the reason is, I don't think that there's enough opportunity for people who have done a lot of inner work to find a place where they can trust others are going to help them with the right energy and in the right structure to take it to that next level. And that's what we want to create, that each year they can come back. So anyway, here's why it's so important. So I paid obviously a few years ago and 5 years ago until I got to actually go. And in that time, my life had taken such a turn for the better. I'd created a lot of change in that time. I sold a company. I'd created multiple businesses and books. Harry and I had really solidified our home here and bought a few properties, and our team had grown, and I had grown. So much had changed. I'd been leading so many other people through transformational work. And when I got there, I found myself going, well, I'm just here because, it's a fun thing to do with my wife. We're going on a safari. And it was about halfway through that it hit me that I wasn't playing full out, and that I'd checked out of doing transformational work and checked out on becoming the next version of myself. What I realized from that moment forward changed my life completely. A month later, Harriet was pregnant, and we're expecting our first kid very soon. As I came back, I didn't have a business. I ended up investing over $150,000 mastermind over the United States and spending 2 months in the States, up-leveling my business acumen. We launched a podcast to number 14 in the world. We bought a new property, which is my perfect dream home with a tennis court and golf chipping range. It's 6 bedrooms. It's on acreage. So we did that. I finished a couple of books. I launched a new course called Superconscious Entrepreneur, and now I've launched a publishing company. Just so much changed in 6 months because of what I learned there. And the first thing that I learned that I really want to pass across, and look, by the way, if you want to come out on an African safari, reach out to us. It is so transformative. The first one is that the past can be over whenever you choose it to be. And I remember sitting out there pondering this idea that the past can be over. And it was such a good, I just decided that the past would be over. And from that moment on, I decided to create a new me. And it's so easy to get caught in a past, especially if you've had some successes, because suddenly, well, you're that kind of person, And I would say to myself, well, I really want to go talk to entrepreneurs, but people who listen to me aren't all entrepreneurs. I really want to go talk about entrepreneurship and how using superconscious and entrepreneurship together is amazing. But the old people go, but my people don't want that. They want this. And so, but when I went with no past, is what's true for me is that's where I'm going, right? I want to help bring these two worlds, these two absolute passions of mine together into one thing. And so the first thing is the past can be over. And what that means is the past is obviously over physically, right? In physical reality, it's obvious the past isn't here, but the past lives along with us mentally and emotionally. But you can say the same thing about the future. The future is also doesn't exist, right? It's not that it's over, it's not here yet. So it doesn't live physically, it only lives mentally and emotionally. Yet the difference is how are you creating your present reality? Is your present reality created based on, this mental and emotional memory of the past, or a mental emotional memory of the future? So the first thing I sat there, I just decided, and I was witnessing these animals, right? And we got to see this amazing hyena den, like right up close. Like the hyena was rubbing against the truck, and they were just there. And you could just see that they're just in the moment. The past was over for them. They weren't living in the past. And the reason what really struck me was one of the cubs, or not the baby cubs, but it was kind of like a teenager, had injured its leg, and really badly, like its leg, like had like 3 legs basically. And yet it wasn't in this past reality that it used to have 4 legs, now only has 3. It was just getting on with it. This is it. The past is over. That's done. I'm a 3-legged thing now, and it was having a great time chasing around the others and just being a 3-legged, animal. And I was like, God, there's no worry. It's just that's what it is. And I really tuned into that, and that was a big thing. The second thing I really tuned into was my truest nature. And when you're out there, you see Lioness, and she was just ripping this buffalo apart. Oh, was it a buffalo? No, I think I misspoke. It was whatever the kill was. Maybe it was a buffalo. Anyway, it doesn't matter for the story, does it? It was ripping some prey apart, and that was that was her nature, truest nature. That's it. That was a truest nature. That's being in nature, being in their truest nature. And many of us try to deny our true nature. We're trying to be something else that we're not. Yet we have a nature. We have a way of being. There's something there for us. But I think what's really interesting about that is between ages of 0 and 7, we kind of get told who we are. Maybe we're quiet, or we're shy, or we're this, or we're that. And we learn people, you're just like this. Or we have one experience and you're just like that. And I do wonder this weird oscillation between what you're told you're supposed to be and then what your desire wants you to be. It's like, be yourself, but at the same time change and be like this. You should be true to your true self, but you should also, be different. It's like, what am I? And so I sat there thinking about my truest nature, and I was like, okay, my truest nature. Now I could do it based on the past, right? And so we can look for our truest nature based on the past. And I was like, gosh, but there's there's the past of me that was 11 years old and 15 years old and 21 and 30. There's all these different, 35-year-old version of me. There's all of these different pasts. I'm being true to that nature. And I was like, you know what? The nature that I should be true to is my truest nature of where I'm going. And I got this thought, kind of impulse popped into my head, and it said, is that you're given desires, and that's not a mistake. And so whatever your desire is, whatever that creative impulse is, you're also given the ability to see that creative impulse turn into reality. I was like, so is my truest nature to be a creator of that impulse? Is my true? And I said the thing, is that my truest nature? And I thought it was a really good thing to ponder on, and I really just sat there and go, yeah, I think it is. I think my truest nature is to be a creator of that impulse. And so I really took that away. And the last thing I took away is just that the joy that's available. When you're out there in the wilds of Africa, you just get back to what's real. None of this, because a lot of the stuff that we're comparing, when I went to Africa, I had a Lamborghini, within 6 weeks coming back, I no longer had a Lamborghini, It's like, did I have the Lamborghini because I truly enjoyed it, or was I doing it because I enjoyed the status or the admiration from others? And it was a bit of both. And so you think to yourself, you're out there in the middle of there's people out there that really don't have what we have. I mean, running water, a hot shower, is incredible. And it gets you back to that humbleness. Of going, okay, what actually matters, and so I wrote this simple life plan, and I hope that you get it. In fact, I might put the download with this. I wrote this simple life plan that you can all download, And it starts out with some really basic truths, which is, we're a creative being that has, around about 100 odd years of experience to experience being this human being. And, you can write 150 if that's what you believe, but whatever. The number doesn't matter. There's a certain number. And then what makes those 100 or whatever amount of years a good one is how you feel about them. It's not about whether you have what you have, it's how you feel about it. So if you write down how you want to feel, that allows you to create what it is that you want. So a simple life plan is to acknowledge you got 100 odd years of this experience. What makes a good one is how you feel. Then write down, well, what makes me feel that way? And then simply go, how do I do as much of that as possible? And so these are three big takeaways, what is it, like 8 or 9 months later since coming back from our first ever African safari. And we are actually taking people on safari this year. And so both myself and William will be attending, and there's spaces available if you're interested in having a next level transformative experience, like absolutely next level. If you want to have the most advanced 2 weeks of your life with me and William and the animals and in luxury, send us an email, get in touch with someone on my team, because we've only got a couple places available. There's only 20 of us going, and it's going to be it's going to be an absolute trip of a lifetime. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So much so that we're buying a piece of land out there. So in 2026, we plan to open our own safari lodge and be able to sleep up to 45 people and take them on amazing transformative journeys and change the world. And it's going to be the home of conscious creation. So, give me a like or a share or something if you think that that's a good thing. And here's what I want to know. If you're becoming a self-made millionaire, it's an inside game. And you got to find ways to have that inside game flourish, because some people will stay static, and you must start becoming that person you're meant to be. And so here's a question you must always ask yourself is, what would the person I'm becoming do right now? Ask that question every single day. It will change your life. Bye for now.